Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for April 8th, 2024. My name is Garrett.
And I'm Kevin.
And we, of course, are your wonderful, awesome, loving, caring hosts, which we are back after a week break. Kevin taking a little much-needed time off, and, well, technically me too, because we took the week off. But this is, we are back. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, some pretty awesome stories going on. And just fun stuff in general. But again, it's been 2 weeks. Kevin, how the heck have you been over the 2 weeks?
Good. I mean, a little bit more rejuvenated because Nadia and I went to Vegas, which was really nice. Just a change of scenery really does the body good sometimes. So it was very, very nice.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll probably hear about that. We can talk a little bit about that at the end of the show when we're kind of talking about stuff we've been watching or stuff we've been playing, stuff like that. So as for me, kind of just business as usual, just without doing the actual stream every week. So nothing too extraordinary on my end, except for what's going to be happening tomorrow, which I will tell you about at the end of the show. But let's go ahead and jump into today's stories. And up first, some unfortunate news. Disney Plus is going to start cracking down on password sharing starting this June. It's probably going to be similar to how they do that with, Netflix, where you're not going to be able to use the same, you can't use the same account in a different connection point is probably the best way of saying that. If you have Netflix right now, basically you have to be on the IP address that your home computer or whatever is on, the IP address that you signed up on, and you can't be on a different one. So that's probably what's going to start happening. So if you have Disney Plus through a friend or a family member, you're probably going to lose access to it. So
that's interesting.
It's not going to be just a complete shutout starting in June. It's going to be like a rollout. It's going to take some time, kind of like the Netflix one did. So if you're watching Disney Plus, especially now that we're getting some kind of movie releases and some other shows that are going to be coming out, just pay attention. And if you are watching the network, those things will start happening. So, but speaking of things you could find on Disney Plus,
Robert Downey Jr. is open to returning to the MCU, and I can see this. I mean, he is Iron Man. It's a multiverse, especially with Secret Wars. Just have him pop in for a little bit, or at the end. He doesn't need to be the whole main story, but it would be nostalgic, pretty much. Just seeing his face on the big screen as Iron Man again.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that it doesn't even have to be something grand. It doesn't have to be him in the Iron Man outfit. You can literally have him, I don't know, maybe this is a spoiler for the future, but you have him show up as a hologram, and he recorded a final message for the Avengers should they ever need to hear his words again before going into a final fight. Just even something like that. So
yeah,
you never know, but it is some exciting news. And he's made some jokes about the MCU recently during his awards show circuits, but I mean, the fact that he's still happy to do it, I mean, shows what his character truly is. So, but we're still on the Disney route because they have done some incredible things this week in terms of stories. Disney has announced several release dates and delays. Kind of be the biggest ones here. The live-action Moana has been moved back a year to July 10th, 2026. So it was moved back a year, which is good because I think Moana 2, the animated one, is coming out next year. So it could be kind of weird to have both in the same year. Tron Ares is set to release on October 10th, 2025, so a year from October. I'm very excited for this because I love Tron Legacy and I love Tron. Toy Story 5 is now coming on June 19th, 2026. And then The Mandalorian and Grogu is set to release in theaters on May 22nd, 2026. So really a lot of 2026 developments and updates. And then the fact that Tron Ares is shooting right now, and the fact that they're not going to release it real quick means that they're actually hopefully going to put some time into the visual effects and get them right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather get everything right and wait a little bit longer just to make sure that the movie is nicely finished and not rushed as a project.
Yeah, 100%. So some interesting news there for sure.
Other interesting news that I didn't see coming. Knives Out 3 is starting production in November. So which that would be good. I just wonder what they're gonna do with this story now with Jacques. Is it Jacques is his name?
Benoit Blanc.
That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc. I mean, he's an interesting character in both of the movies. I just watched Knives Out last week, so it was very interesting. He you can play with that guy all day and put him in different scenarios. So I'm up for it.
Yeah, he's literally like the new Hercule Poirot. He's the new, not like Sherlock Holmes, but like Agatha Christie type like character. Like he is just the mystery solver, and it's a lot of fun to watch him work. And I'm excited for it because I love Knives Out and I love Glass Onion. Which, if you haven't watched it yet, Kevin, there's something for you to watch this week.
I've watched Glass Onion. I watched Glass Onion before I watched Knives Out.
Oh, well, that's interesting. But moving right along, James Cameron has stated that the Fantastic Voyage remake will be made very soon. I'm supposed to say made, not mad.
Mad.
Yeah, mad soon. No, it's going to be made very soon. Fantastic Voyage being one of those films where they take the exploratory journey through the human body, which Fantastic Voyage and then I think Inner Space or something like that were two movies that came out around the same time. But this is cool because it was confirmed that Guillermo del Toro would be directing it some time ago. I think it was back in 2016, so almost 10 years ago. But James Cameron said that it's going to be hopefully made pretty soon, and he'll be producing it. So,
what is that? What is the cartoon that goes through the body and has an amusement park in it? Is that
Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
That is a parody. It is a parody of Fantastic Voyage.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's been a lot of parodies of those. Futurama, I think, had one, and they're all over the place.
Gotcha. Okay. So, well, I can't wait to see it. So.
Yeah.
All right. And Denis.
Denis Villeneuve.
I had it right when I was saying it. Denis Villeneuve to direct a nuclear war, a scenario.
Yes.
Civil War. Now we have a nuclear war.
Well, Denis Villeneuve is the director of Dune and Dune Part 2. And this is confirmed to be one of his upcoming projects. It's a book that is set to release in the next month or two. Going over a fictitious scenario based on real world planning for what would happen if nuclear war were to break out.
Oh, okay.
So if anything, it's an indirect sequel of sorts to Oppenheimer, I guess you could say. Kind of seeing Oppenheimer's worst nightmare come true.
True.
So would be very interesting to see what he can do, especially cinematography wise and visual effects, because he's really come a long way. So very excited to see what that ends up being. But we did have some comments. Let's go ahead and get to those real quick. Our good friend Nadia from Horror and More giving us...
I hate those eyes.
Smile. Well, they look like the Eyewitness logo, which is like bringing so much nostalgia back for me right now. But hi, Nadia. Hope you had a wonderful time in Vegas. Hope you're doing well. And then Zach, have you been enjoying the Hulu and Disney Plus combined app? Seems like when the Acolyte and the Bear drop in June, it'll be at its full strength. I mean, yeah, it's fine.
It's like a no-brainer why apps and stuff don't merge a little bit more often and charge like $5 more for you to have both things. I mean, it just seems like dumb money is right there in front of them, but they're not using it correctly. Yeah, I mean, with this, it was definitely weird when I loaded up Disney Plus earlier today to watch something, which I'll talk about when we get to the movie section, and then seeing like all these animated movies and then just Alien in a row. It was quite the interesting experience. I think it's fun. I think putting it all in one place is just a good idea. I don't know if Hulu is still its own app or not, but okay.
That I'd have to double check. But yeah, good question. Moving right along, next story here. Argyle, the movie that came out and kind of flopped in theaters, will be hitting Apple TV Plus on April 12th. I didn't get the chance to go see this in theaters, so this will be a good chance for me to go and check it out. And hopefully more people will watch it when it's available to stream on a service and not just like, it's something you have to go to see in theaters. But yeah, it's really...
I think this movie flopped just because it was a hit or miss with people too. It's really 50-50. So it's nice that it's getting a streaming service date now, so people are like, okay, is it good? And then we'll get some of the the reviews are like, oh, I should have gone and seen this, I shouldn't have listened to this person or anything. I wish it was on a different streaming service because I don't have Apple TV Plus, so but it will eventually, so hopefully I'll check it out this year.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and The Mummy will return to theaters for its 25th anniversary on April 26th. I haven't watched The Mummy in ages. I feel like
I love The Mummy. I love this movie so much.
It would be cool to see it in theaters if there's like good times.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just gonna be that one day or if it's gonna be multiple days, but it would definitely be fun to go see. I didn't include it as a story just because we have a lot of stories to talk about this week, but also the same day, Alien is going to be re-released in theaters. Ooh. So, because April 26th is Alien Day, which is the planet LV-426 that they land on. So April 26th, 426. Hopefully we get a new trailer for Romulus that day too. Would be really cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
Righty, next up, the next Star Wars movie after Mandalorian and Grogu will be Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, and it's just been announced that it will be written by Beau Willimon. Beau Willimon is known primarily as the main writer of the Netflix show House of Cards, which was a huge success critically and fan-wise. Also wrote the 3 most celebrated and awarded shows of Andor. Wrote the 3 episodes, not shows, the 3 most popular and awarded episodes of Andor, and is also the person who wrote the film Mary Queen of Scots, which was a Netflix exclusive. So I just feel like it's a good pick all around because Andor is one of the best recent Star Wars projects, and I think getting that guy to write it is probably a good idea.
It's going to be more like, I'm not going to say that Star Wars isn't serious movies, but more like down to earth, like Andor-ish movies.
Yeah, hopefully.
Good.
Hopefully, it'll be like, a more grounded, less fun, more serious take on how the Jedi started.
That would be very cool because you just see a lot of flashy things in like the newer. Now, I love the newer franchise as well. Like I don't hate it or anything like that, but I would like to see a more like nitty gritty Star Wars movie.
Yeah, and I think that we get a lot of the Star Wars films that either talk about like war, or they talk about the military industrial complex, or they talk about like parallels to politics. I would like to see some interesting parallels in narrative spun around like religious beliefs, because obviously the Jedi are a religion. It's not like an army, right? So providing some commentary on that I think would be very interesting if they can keep it on that level of Andor. But we never know.
We'll see.
Yeah, very excited for it, though.
Yeah. And Julia Gardner cast as Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four. She's playing the Shalabal version. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Shalabal version of the character, not a gender swap. Okay, so it's a different Silver Surfer, pretty much.
So basically what they've kind of confirmed is that she is, and Julia Garner, for those of you who don't know, was in the recent show on Netflix with Jason Bateman. I forget what it's called, with the family doing all the drug stuff. Not Breaking Bad. It was the other one that was very popular. I can't.
Ozark?
Yes, she was on Ozark, and that's where she got real big from. So she will be playing the Shalabal version of the character, who is a later version of the Silver Surfer. So, but what also was interesting is we got a new poster for the movie on April 4th, which is called 4-Day, I guess. And they released a poster that showed the Human Torch, but in the background was a city that's not New York. And it was like a very futuristic city. So a lot of people are thinking that it will take place in the future. And this Shalabal version of the Silver Surfer is a future version of the Surfer. And we may still get the real, the original Silver Surfer character in the current timeline.
Okay.
So I see some interesting theories.
I mean, it's cool that how they're taking kind of like a futuristic approach to Fantastic Four. Because I feel like we've gotten a lot of grounded Fantastic Four movies in the day, so just bringing it a little bit further along might actually help the franchise a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that'll help bring audiences back too, to see like the wondrous kind of futuristic. I don't know. I think it'll be real interesting. Next up is Halle Bailey, fresh off of The Little Mermaid last year, is going to be joining recent Oscar winner Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers and Pharrell Williams in Universal's next new musical, which is currently untitled. being directed by Michel Gondry. I'm trying to remember exactly what films he has made. Actually, he is the director of our recent episode of Movie Club, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, okay.
So, going to be a musical from him, which is real interesting. So
that's going to be interesting.
Sounds like a great cast already. I'm just interested to see what it is and what it's called.
Mm-hmm. True. So, as soon as we hear that title, that might pique our interest there.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully, it's a good musical. We've had a couple of good musicals lately, so hopefully, it continues the trend.
Yep. All right, and The Matrix 5 is in development at Warner Brothers to be directed by Drew Goddard. I think I said that right.
You got it correct.
Yes, director of Cabin in the Woods and Bad Times at the El Royale. I've only seen Cabin in... No, I haven't seen Cabin in the Woods. I thought it was Knock at the Cabin. I was mixing those up.
You should see Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is good. But yeah, this is cool. I don't know, like Matrix Resurrections, which was the fourth one, is awful. And it really left a bad taste in my mouth, especially someone who's like nostalgically a fan of the Matrix as a whole. Still, the first film is the best. But I mean, it's interesting if hopefully they go a new route with it and new characters instead of sticking to just Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss and all them. Just hopefully they go in a new direction.
I mean, I saw this on my feed on Instagram and I literally just went past it. Like, it was just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Keep going. So
until we see in some footage or casting or something, like it's like, okay, because in development doesn't mean it's happening. It could not happen. So we never know. But we do have some comments here. Let's go ahead and get to those real quick. Zach, let's see if Beau Willimon lasts 6 months before parting ways. The Kathleen Kennedy effect. For sure. I mean, the Star Wars saga has just been in development hell right now when it comes to films. I mean, he did have success with Andor, and Andor is a multiple award nominated show now. I think they will keep him around for sure on this. And by all intents and purposes, I think Kathleen Kennedy is not as involved as people think anymore, with Dave Filoni being the chief creative officer now. I think it's mostly going to be in his hands. So we'll have to see. Jose, our good friend, asks, how dry are they going to milk the Matrix? Well, they already milked the damn thing pretty dry with Resurrections. So, I mean, at this point, they're going back to the well, and the water's hasn't been there for 300 years. So, but then again, it could be something they do interesting with it. There's a lot of philosophical ground that they could cover with it. And then not throwing it, milk tricks. That sounds like a cereal.
I was gonna say that sounds like a good snack bar or candy, like Milky Way. Milky Way and Trix. Not Trix. No, not Trix. Twix. I was thinking Twix. But I heard that would be. I mean,
well, Nadia, copyright it, so you own Milk Tricks.
Milk Tricks.
Next up, let's go ahead, and this is going to be me. I always forget the order here. Michael Mann has confirmed that Heat 2 will be taking place right after the original, and he is still working on the script. This is coming on the heels of rumored castings of Adam Driver in the film, which is great. Adam Driver's a great actor. But that's really about all we know so far. He's still working on it, so yeah.
I haven't seen Heat 1, so I have to get on that before this one even pops back into my mind.
We're probably 2 years away, so you've got some time.
Yeah. Freaky Friday 2 announced with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan returning. Cool.
We talked about this 2 weeks ago, how Lindsay Lohan was like, yeah, we'd love to do it. And then 2 weeks later, happens. Fully announced. I mean, sure.
How could you not, though? That's the thing. It's like bringing Lindsay Lohan back for Mean Girls. How could you not get a little cameo in there with the original? Is nice. So, but
I don't know.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, again, Freaky Friday 2 is not even. Is it even being filmed yet, or is it still?
It will be filming soon, I imagine.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering
if it'll be a theatrical release or a Disney Plus release. So we'll have to find out. But I will see anything Jamie Lee Curtis is in. She's great. Oscar winner Laurie Strode.
No.
Next up, though, this is super exciting news for me. Don Hertzfeldt and Ari Aster are working on a big horror project, which is huge. So for those of you who don't know, Ari Aster is the director of Hereditary, Midsommar, and then also Beau is Afraid, which just came out last year, and is currently making his new movie Eddington, which is going to be a Western, which is really exciting. But Don Hertzfeldt is an animator who has done one of my favorite animated movies of all time, It's Such a Beautiful Day. But also, most of you are probably aware of the Rejected cartoons, like My Spoon is Too Big. Those messed up cartoons. He did those, and a lot of his films have been considered like kind of avant-garde, artsy horror in a way, like existential horror. And so he's been wanting to do this project for over 10 years, and Ari Aster just signed on to help him make a reality. So this is super exciting, because I think when it comes to horror, I think we don't get enough animated films in the genre. We got Mad God 2 years ago. We got another movie that came out, I think, last year called Stop Motion, which had animation elements in it. But really excited to see what this ends up being. Two of my favorite directors right now. So I'm down to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it comes out sooner than later, though. But we'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of horror, though.
Yeah, Courtney Cox in talks to return to Scream 7. I mean, this is just in developmental hell. I feel like an actress hell. So they're just trying to grab everybody that they can at this point.
I mean, it's a shame that we didn't get Neve Campbell in the last one, but she'll be returning for this one, which is cool. And I mean, I really like Scream 6 and Scream 5, so hopefully it can continue to be pretty good films. But you know, it's okay. Most of the actors are going on to do bigger kind of projects, so
true,
makes sense. But hopefully, maybe it's the last one. Who knows? It's been very profitable recently. Going from slasher horror to horror that's probably going to happen within a couple of years. Talking about Civil War. Alex Garland, the director of Civil War, Ex Machina, and Annihilation, and Men, is saying that he is planning to step away from directing after Civil War. For those of you who don't know, Alex Garland was an author and screenwriter before he became a director, and so wants to return to that part of it, and less so the actual film directing part, which I think is fine. He made we haven't seen Civil War yet, so we can't really say whether or not it's good. Men is a good film. I wouldn't say it's great. Annihilation and Ex Machina are great films. So pretty good track record, pretty good batting average. So I think leaving it there is kind of nice. Like I went out on a high kind of a thing. But excited to see what he works on next. So, you know, hopefully Civil War is good. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Civil War, and I just saved Ex Machina somewhere. I don't know what streaming service, so I might be watching that in a couple of days. So, but I'm excited for Civil War. There, it looks very interesting.
And getting back into slasher horror.
It's Eli Roth coming in with Thanksgiving 2. He's currently writing it, I should say.
He's coming in with writing it. Yeah.
Which Nadia and I absolutely love Thanksgiving 1, the horror and gore, and that is it's over the top, but it's great over the top. So can't wait to see what he does for the second one.
Yeah, and I believe, if I remember correctly, Thanksgiving is based off a fake trailer he directed during the Planet Terror and Death Proof sequence, which is really funny. Because we got Machete too as well, so it's like it's kind of funny that we're actually getting those as films. But let's go ahead and move it right along. Roadhouse, which came out on Netflix, the remake with Jake Gyllenhaal, has broken viewership records on Prime Video. Honestly, I've heard things that are, like, I wouldn't say I've heard terrible things about the movie. I wouldn't say I've heard amazing things either, but people do seem to be enjoying it. From what I've seen, I think right now, it's got a 2.6 on Letterboxd, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. It's got a 6.2 on IMDb and a 57 on Metacritic, so not terrible by any means. I think people just were looking for a fun movie to watch, and they got it.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be like your Street Fighter, like when you want to go see Kong versus Zilla. This is their man-on-man fighting sequence, like John Wick. It's just a fun movie that you can stream. You don't have to go out into the movies to watch, too, which is nice. Yeah,
with Conor McGregor playing himself, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
But after that, we're taking it back to
Horror.
the 1930s and horror.
Universal's Wolfman remake delayed to January 17th, 2025. Did I spell something wrong? Oh,
You missed the S in Universal. It's okay.
dang it. Yeah, it's been delayed till January 17th, 2025. I mean, it's okay. Make it good. That's
well, that doesn't necessarily inspire a lot of hope. January
know.
movies are not good usually.
That's true.
But Invisible Man, which is the director's last film, was good and came out in January. So who knows?
Maybe, but we'll see. I mean, I always like Wolfman though. Like the original one is such a classic, and hopefully they can live up to the Invisible Man 2019 one as well. So I'm having some hopes for this one.
Yeah, I mean, always worth it to have hope. Until we see some trailers and reviews and things, it's good to have hope.
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of blockbusters, potentially, Top Gun 3 has a story, says producer Jerry Brockheimer. Kind of upset that we are getting a third one. I think the second one should have just left it there.
Yeah.
But if they do a third one, as much as I love seeing Tom Cruise and Maverick, drop him. Let him fly off into the sunset and focus on the new generation. I think that the characters were well written enough they could carry it.
I totally agree with you. Give what's his name? What's
Miles Teller, Glenn Powell?
Yeah. Oh yeah, all of those they can stand in their own movie without Tom in it. So I would love to see, like you said, just drop them off, let them go, and then have these guys be the center of the story.
That's absolutely right. And for our last story, we're getting back into horror with a story that I think Nadia is excited about.
I don't even know if she knows. A new Chucky movie is in the works. I didn't know about this, so when I was writing this up, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." That makes me really excited.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be tied to the TV show that is currently on, and will be somewhat related to that. So hopefully it is what the fans are looking for. Hopefully it gives them something that they want and is in line with the show, because I'm hearing that the show is pretty good from people who have seen it. So hopefully it continues that on and it comes out and is successful. So
I agree. And I mean, if you haven't seen the TV show, it's not like a necessary watch, but it is just funny. It's a comedy horror TV show. If you like those, definitely watch it. It's really good.
Absolutely. Alrighty, and that's it for stories this week. Let's go ahead and talk about this here. Zach, Freaky Friday 2 is the most direct-to-streaming movie ever. Well,
I thought I thought Mean Girls was going to be direct to streaming as well, and then it got a theater release. So
the new musical.
Yeah.
Okay. What the Scream franchise is to horror, Transformers is to action. They'll milk this franchise for eons. I don't know about that. I think that Scream is mostly very strong. I would say 3 and 4 are the only real weak ones by any means. I think that the horror franchise that'll milk to the eons will be Saw, just because there's so many of them. Not that the new one isn't good or whatever, like, you know, it is aside. They make so many of them. So I wouldn't say Scream is being milked like Transformers is, for sure. I think that's more Saw, it's more Halloween, it's more, you know, the bigger franchises that have been around longer. So Nadia says, another horror movie, Dominant Cities confirmed Child's Play 8. And technically you did say it first, yes. But we are getting a new one. So if they bobble the Top Gun franchise with a shaky trilogy, I'll never stop talking about it. I don't think any of us will.
Anybody would.
The expectations are so sky high after Maverick. They got to get it right.
Why put yourself in that position? That's the other thing that I'm thinking of is you had this Top Gun Maverick that everybody loved. Oh, we're going to put out a third movie. It's like, okay, but did we really ask for a third movie?
Yeah. I mean, if it's good, sure, I'll take it all day long. And as long as it has dangers in the beginning, you're already earning points with me. Finally, Night says, love me a small killer ginger. Wow, I almost said ginger. Wow, that was a mispronunciation. We all do. We all love Chucky. Chucky's hilarious. Even if the movies aren't good, Chucky is good.
He's good. Yep.
There we go. Alrighty, that's going to be it for the news stories this week. Let's go ahead and talk about trailers that came out this week. We had trailers from the last 2 weeks to talk about, but only one of them, actually two of them, in my opinion, are worth talking about. But did anything stand out to you over the last 2 weeks?
I didn't watch any trailers except for Nadia said that Maxine's trailer looked really good, and
Maxine is one of the ones I'm talking about. Yeah,
because we were at the library today and we're like, we should see if they have X and Pearl so we can watch it before Maxine comes out. So
I own them if you want to borrow them.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we have to. But that I didn't watch anything, but she's the one that said that Maxine looked really good. And Fly Me to the Moon, I've seen some stuff on it. I haven't seen the trailer.
That was the other one I was going to talk about. Fly Me to the Moon is, I don't know how based in reality it is, but it's got Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson in it. And it is a sort of comedy about NASA before getting to the moon. It's about how NASA was not doing very well during the time period with the public and with the government. And so Channing Tatum, who's a scientist with NASA, which is crazy to think, they end up having to hire Scarlett Johansson, who's a marketing executive, one of the best in the country, to come in and turn things around for the space program. And the trailer ends with them being like, all right, we're sending him to the moon, but we need to film an alternate version on a set just in case there's a failure, because we need to beat the Soviets. So it's kind of funny. It looks like it's going to be a little bit of a romantic comedy, a little bit of a comedy, a little bit of history. So I think it looks like a good mix. It's coming to Apple TV, I believe. I don't remember if it's coming to theaters or not, but it does look pretty interesting, and I can't wait to check it out. And then we did get a new trailer for Abigail, which Abigail looks fun.
It looks really good.
And then Mars Express, too, is a new animated movie coming out, which very interested to see how that's going to be. So, but that is it for trailers this week. Let's actually dive into the movies that you and I watched. And I want to try something.
Okay.
Let's alternate. I'll do one, you do one, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
I'm going to start it out with probably the only bad movie that I watched over the last few weeks, which is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Now, for a lot of people, this is going to be so bad that it's good, and I can see it being that for people. This movie just did nothing for me. I think my biggest concern is that it takes way too long to get started. It feels more like a joke than it's trying to be. And I think that none of its effects are convincing. The masks look terrible. The outfits look terrible. The effects look terrible. Like, they're clearly like Adobe After Effects blood splatter images. It's really bad. It is one of those movies that I know you could put on at the background of a Halloween party. It's going to be great for that. But I think that there's just so many better movies that fit that role, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, or even the worst, Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like ones like even those are better at being something in the background than this movie is, I think. Now, I haven't seen the second one, and I've heard that all Tigger says the entire movie is bitch when he kills women. So that's intriguing and terrible. But this did nothing for me personally. But if you enjoyed it, it's so bad that it's good. I understand that for sure.
Yeah.
So Kevin, your first one.
Then I'll go. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I rented this from the library, which was really nice. And it was good. I mean, a classic monster movie. Is it one of my favorite classic monster movies? No, it is not. But it's definitely, it gives that whole collection a little space on my shelf, which is really nice. So I'm glad I got to see, and I picked up the 4K Steelbook from Walmart. So I'm glad I have the whole set now.
Nice. That's one I hope we get a remake of, because I think there's a lot of things you could do with that story for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Next up for me, watched it for the first time, The Goonies, which I had never seen before, and honestly, I wish I would have seen it when I was younger. I think that seeing it now as a 30-year-old just doesn't hit the same way as it would have when I was a kid. But it is still a fun, self-contained adventure that really works when you don't think too hard about it. Kind of in the same vein as like Home Alone and other movies like that. There are some annoying moments, which is unavoidable. They're child actors. Like, Chunk is my spirit animal, like telling a story and immediately gets distracted by pizza, that kind of a thing. But he's one of the most annoying characters in the movie. So it's like, they're child actors. I give it some leeway, but they are great. Like, Ke Huy Quan is great in the movie, but like get annoying every once in a while. But also, it has a great set piece at the end. It's a return to those movies that have like one big giant set that they built for the end of the movie, and they just use it in various different angles. It's great. It's a lot of fun. So, not the best movie I've ever seen. Again, if I was younger, I probably have better nostalgia for it. But it's a fun movie regardless.
I totally agree with you. If I would have watched this when I was like 13, 10, back in the day, I would have loved this movie. I think I watched it before I had Letterboxd, so but it was still good. It was just like, oh, it's kind of cheesy and corny, and they do get a little annoying, but it's still a good movie to watch with kiddos or something.
Yeah.
All right, and then my next one, Graveyard Shift. It was promising. The cover looks promising, but it ended up just being a little bit of a flop, which is okay. Some movies can be flops and be good, but this one is just a flop. So it's about basically the person is in a wool machine place, and there's like a big bat rat thing. It's a creature feature, but the creature comes out 45 minutes into the movie. So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's Graveyard Shift. I was super excited because I finally went to go see a movie that I had been waiting to see for a while.
Yes.
Which is Late Night with the Devil, which was an indie release that came out a couple of weeks ago. And I loved this movie. I thought that the tone, the presentation, everything about it, I loved. David Dastmalchian deserves more lead roles, so Hollywood, please give them to him. The film's dreamlike quality is impeccable, and the pacing is taut, and it's really well executed. I would say that it's not the scariest movie ever, though. It's not even really scary, which I feel like is to the film's detriment. I feel like there could have been some more scary moments. You could have pushed the envelope a little bit more, maybe leaned more into the dreamlike quality. And I think that, other than that, though, I think it's a very strong film. I don't know if it's the two directors. I don't know if it's their first film, but if it is, it's a real strong showing, and I would love to see what else they have next.
Yeah, I can't wait for this to go on streaming. Just
should
to
be on
see
Shudder in like a week or two, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. So hopefully I can watch that and see my opinion on it. But it looks really good from the trailers.
Yeah, we'll do one more, and then we'll cut over to comments because we have a few.
Sounds good. Knives Out, like we were talking about. Again, rented this from the library because I haven't seen it. Super good. Glass Onion was not better than this one. This one is much better. And just the little thoughts of like at the end where the knives are pointing to the people. If you know, I don't want to spoil anything, but the knives pointing at the heads of the people on a chair, which is really cool. Just little stuff like that I really like in movies, and subtle hints at like who done this and who did this, and a little bit of comedy too, which I like in some mystery movies.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I absolutely love it. Let's go ahead and get to the comments here real quick. Boy Kills World looks interesting. If nothing else, H. John Benjamin narrating is a plus. I did forget about that trailer. That trailer does look. I think it looks good. It's an interesting, unique looking action movie where the hero is mute and deaf. So, really interesting combination there. Blood and Honey is a smoke a joint, sit back and enjoy the cheese type of movie.
Yep.
I can see that. if that's how what you do in your spare time, and you're able to enjoy a joint or something, I'm sure it'll be one of the craziest movies you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never get the image of like poo dripping honey out of his mouth, like out of my head for as long as I live. Next up for me though, I was on a little bit of a horror kick this week, kind of going over a couple movies. So I watched Ghost Watch from 1992, a cult classic out of England, which is a TV movie that was made at the time. The history is really interesting. So the BBC aired this on Halloween night. They had told the audience at the start of it, this is fake, this is a TV movie. But in the TV movie, they had real news anchors and real TV personalities hosting this real looking event where scary things started to happen. And most people didn't see the warning at the beginning and tuned in after.
Oh.
And so they there is a number you could call on the screen if you saw anything in the video, which was fake. And if you called the number, it would say, this is a fictitious program. There's nothing to worry about. It's just it's a Halloween spectacular. Have fun. But there were so many people calling the lines that it jammed the lines and created more fear and panic. And it's actually the first piece of recorded media ever to be attributed to cases of PTSD in children.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a real interesting movie. It's got a really cool history behind it. If you're a horror nut, like I know Nadia is a horror nut, so I don't know if you've seen this before, Nadia, but I would put it towards the top of your list just because of the history alone. It's a cool movie. I think it's a little, it's a little slow because it's like you're watching a real live event, but it's a fun movie. This is a cool movie to have on in the background of Halloween, but like to watch it actively, like just to put it on, like because most people have never heard of this. So like, like friends come over for Halloween, you can put this on and people don't know what it is, and it'll just get some real interesting reactions. So
you just fast forward the first part of it and just leave it on the
yeah.
That would be interesting to see.
It's real interesting. It's pretty short too, like an hour and a half, maybe a little bit shorter than that. So
cool.
Really easy watch. Also, Late Night of the Devil, which is similar because it's like a found footage type thing, is also about an hour and 20, hour 30 minutes. So like real good pacing on both of these, except for this one is a little slow, but
gotcha.
It's all right.
Mine. Nice Guys. Garrett was talking about this 2 weeks ago, saying it was one of his favorite Ryan Gosling movies. It was on Netflix. It was about to ship its way out of Netflix, so I decided to watch it. And it was really good, really funny, a lot of action in here. And yes, Ryan Gosling is great in this movie, but all the other supporting actors and actresses were also very, very good.
Yeah, it's so fun. Absolutely love that movie. Next up is actually going to be my assignment from 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
for the wheel spin, and for me it was Orphan from 2009, a film that I had always seen the DVD cover of, the poster of, and I just had never watched. And in some ways, I'm happy that I did. I think that Esther is an intriguing villain. She is very well performed by the actress that plays her, and there are good performances. Vera Farmiga and Peter Sarsgaard are really pretty they're much better than I think the film would have them be. And I do think that the film is really slow, though. It is also over long. That movie does not deserve to be over 2 hours and 10 minutes or whatever it is. It feels long. But the movie does pick up in its last act. There is a twist in the film that I will not spoil here. It is, I kind of saw it coming or something similar, but I would say most of it took me by surprise because I didn't know going in. So that was actually a pretty welcome surprise. But I do need to, I know this is like a moot point because this was 2009, but stop demonizing and making villains out of people with mental health conditions and physical health conditions. It's just, I don't know. It just feels really kind of targeted to me. I don't know. But other than that, it's fine. Am I happy that I watched it? Sure. I don't think I would necessarily watch it again, but I actually walked out of it with a much more positive outlook than I was expecting to get.
Do you know this is based on a true story?
I thought it was, but I didn't know for sure. So that's real interesting to know. That horrifies me.
Well, that it's a TV series on Max or something like that, where they do the interview with the actual girl that supposedly that's how they got the orphan thing from. So it's very interesting.
It's also a real condition too. That in the movie, which I'm again not spoiling, but it is based on a real thing that does happen to people.
Yeah, so. But it's.
But your assignment
was Slumber Party Massacre. It's a very short movie. It's an hour and 14 minutes. This movie, which I was very surprised about, and it's a little slow at the beginning, but then the blood and gore picks up. But gosh darn, you don't care about these people in this movie. I could give two hecks what happens to them during this whole movie. I was there for the blood and gore and how he kills them. So it was, again, a great movie to watch with your friends. Have a little drinking game. Perfectly fine. You'll laugh. You'll laugh all night. Put it on the background or something like that during Halloween. Perfectly fine. But to sit down and watch it again, I would with Nadia and just make fun of it. but it was still
Sure.
a good movie to watch.
Yeah, you know what? It's honestly, it's nice to have those movies that you could like get drunk to with your friends and just like have a good time with it. So it sounds like it's that kind of movie. Which, I mean, again, they're not the best films in the world. Maybe you're not the happiest that you had to sit through it, but would be fun to again watch later on like a certain point of view. There is a movie that I do want to watch with you guys at some point where we all get drunk and make fun of it, which is about cowboys in Mexico who encounter a dinosaur.
What is that called?
I forget what it's called because it was covered on Mystery Science Theater, but it's so bad that it is really funny.
Oh
and
my gosh.
It'd be so fun to watch at some point. For me, though, last one up is Wish, which came out this year. Just got added to Disney Plus, or it came out last year, excuse me. I hate to have a pun, but I wish this film was better. It's full of good ideas, and there is potential in what it's trying to do, but I think that it's wasted on a film that is forgettable and bland. The music is fine. It's good in moment and good in the moment. Like when you're listening to it at the time, it's pretty good. It's well scored. It's well sung, but like it's just not memorable.
Okay.
Like the chorus of the main song is good, and the villain song is actually pretty fun. It is. I will say it is nice to have a villain who's not redeemed and is just kind of an asshole. So like that is also really nice. I think Ariana DeBose and Chris Pine both give really good performances, but again, their talents are wasted on this script that just is a weak attempt at a 100th celebration of Disney. It's a mixed bag. I'm not disappointed by it totally, but I'm also not like enthused about it or like wanting to watch it again. And also the animation style is a really hit or miss. You can tell that it was supposed to be 2D at some point, and then they transitioned it to 3D, but it's a mixed bag. I feel like there's people who are going to hate the movie. I feel like there's people who are going to like the movie. It's really, I'm in the middle. It's fine.
Literally, you're 50-50.
Which it's kind of funny because like just a Disney animated movie being fine should be an insult to Disney, but it's kind of par for the course at this point.
Yeah, so, especially with, the newer movies that I'm looking more forward to, Inside Out 2 and stuff. I'm hoping that my expectations will just overcome this, and I have to watch this week too, just to see how it is. Because again, didn't hear anything good about it, didn't hear anything bad about it. So it's like, okay, so what do I take away from this? Do I watch it? Do I not watch it?
Watch it for yourself. And
exactly.
I will say, there's the little Star character, whose just name is Star. They are adorable, and I want to fight for them with my life. But like, other than that, it's just meh. Okay. But if anyone wants to check out those reviews or any more, you can go to my letterbox right there, which is Garrett_O'Keefe, or Kevin's letterbox right there, which is Kevin Hanna 12, for more film reviews. I post very regularly on Letterboxd, and I think Kevin
I try to.
We got Nadia's here saying, don't forget 80s Tiggies.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tiggies in that movie too.
I think they mean boobies, but I'm not sure.
That's exactly what it is, but we're child friendly here, so.
We're not. We're not playing Fortnite on Twitch. This is not a child stream. No, I'm just kidding. Anyhow, but that is going to be it for our review corner. Let's go ahead and talk about the box office. So, Kevin, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
All right. Well, Godzilla vs. Kong. This is the second week it was in because we missed last week too. So just to let you guys know, it did make a lot of money last week that I heard. I think it was. Did it do better than Dune? Its first.
I don't
week?
think it did better than Dune, but I think it is better for the franchise.
Sure. Okay. But Godzilla vs. Kong: The New Empire, 31.7 million. Monkey Man, which was I've heard a lot about Monkey Man, with 10.1 million. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, that's kind of a flop, I feel like, with 9 million.
Did decline quickly, yeah.
And then The First Omen, which we're gonna go. Nadia and I are gonna go see that tomorrow, hopefully. So we'll might have to see it come next stream, see how it is.
Some pretty strong reactions coming after that too, by the way.
Yeah, that's what we've heard. And then Kung Fu Panda still kicking in there, no pun intended. 7.9 million.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a little sad to see Dune go, but it's okay. It is going to happen. But my prediction came true. Godzilla x Kong: New Empire is in the first spot for the second week in a row.
Yep.
I believe that was what my prediction was. I could be wrong. But that's it for the box office for this week. Let's see here. Disappointing weekend for Monkey Man. 10 million feels like the floor with high expectations. I don't necessarily think that I agree. I want to double check what the budget was for the movie. Because considering the fact that this movie was supposed to go straight to streaming.
Yeah. Well, isn't the main actor the director and the writer as well or something like that? Yeah. Yep. So he saved a lot of money just doing that.
100%. Let's see here. Nothing for the budget of the movie. Worldwide, it's made $12 million. Let's see here. Details.
And I feel like he wanted to do it because he loved this project too. And that's why he put himself on the screen, wrote it, and directed it. So it might just be one of those movies where he's like, this is what I wanted to do, so I did it pretty much.
Yeah. Actually, so the budget for Monkey Man was $10 million. And the fact that it already made its budget in the first weekend. And so right now, not including, so the number we showed does not include what it has made since the weekend, which is another $2 million. So it's $2 million more positive, which is far more money than it would have made if it was originally supposed to be released on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a win all around, especially for Dev Patel. It's got good critic reviews, and it's getting a decent showing at the box office. It's opening second. It's opening above The First Omen and above an established franchise, which is Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
sure. It was never going to dethrone Godzilla X Kong, but like I feel like that's a really good weekend. Sure, it could have been more,
but it did better than The First Omen. The Omen has a name already attached to it, and then this one just comes in with Monkey Man, and people are just like, okay, this is just a one-off thing. But would I rather go see Monkey Man or The First Omen? And they chose Monkey Man over a franchise, which is cool, kind of, because it gives like directors like him a little bit like, oh, people actually want to go see this movie. So which is nice.
Exactly. Really waiting for it. But let's go ahead and move right along to the movies that you're going to be checking out this weekend, hopefully. And we're starting with a big one, which is Civil War.
Yep.
A journey across a dystopian future America following a team of military-embedded journalists as they race against time to reach D.C. before rebel factions descend upon the White House. Very excited for this movie. It's got a 79 on Metacritic, pretty high rating on Rotten Tomatoes as well. Very excited for this. I don't think it's going to be like an award-winning movie by any means, but it does look like it's going to be a really good time. Some of the best combat apparently put on the screen in a while. After that, we have Arcadian, which is starring Nicolas Cage. A father and his twin teenage sons fight to survive in a remote farmhouse at the end of the world. This has a 68 on Metacritic, so it's pretty decent reviews. Some positive reactions from moviegoers. So if this is something that you want to check out, it seems to be a hit with action and horror and sci-fi fans. After that is Sting. After raising an unnervingly talented spider in secret, 12-year-old Charlotte must face the facts about her pet and fight for her family's survival when the once charming creature rapidly transforms into a giant flesh-eating monster. This film has nope written all over it for me, but it has been actually getting some very decent reviews from a lot of horror-themed YouTube channels and other movie channels. Chris Stuckman is a reviewer that I very much respect, and he was giving it a high score because it kind of is reminiscent of like Eight-Legged Freaks and movies like that, where it's campy but good, and it leans into its camp. So if it's something you're looking forward to, I know you and Nadia are looking forward to it. Go out and enjoy it. Apparently the gore is fantastic.
Well, and I heard it's like a really good creature feature film. So if you like those too, definitely try to see this one at your theaters.
Exactly. And lastly, we have Sweet Dreams, which is an indie movie release. It follows Morris, who must coach a misfit softball team of his fellow housemates during his mandatory stay at Sweet Dreams Sober Living in order to get his life back on track. This stars Johnny Knoxville, Bobby Lee, Kate Upton, and there's another comedian who's very popular. Theo Vaughn is in the movie. So it's got a lot of decent people in it. The film doesn't look necessarily too great to me, but I know there's probably a lot of people who will find this movie something that they want to go see. So check it out. It looks like more of a actual movie, not dramatic role, but like something a little bit closer to an actual acting role, which Johnny Knoxville hasn't had for a while. So which is pretty exciting. So that's going to be it for this weekend. There's always a bunch of limited releases and other things that are coming out too. So check your local theater for listings if there's anything that you would like to see, and check out the trailers to see if you want to go see them.
Yep.
But we got some comments here. Dune 2 not getting to $750 million is also an underrated story for a movie of the decade type movie. Well, Dune 2 is, it's not for everyone, which I know you didn't like it, which I've been trying to talk to you about it all weekend to get why you don't like it. But I mean, it was never. I never thought it was going to hit $750 million, let alone the money that it's made already. I think it's just one of those. It's like, I don't know. It's like Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was one of the best movies of the decade so far, and that didn't make even like maybe 40 million. So, like money doesn't determine how good a quality of film something is. Like the example I always use is Venom made $1 billion.
Wait, Venom, the first movie, made $1 billion?
Mm-hmm. So did Aquaman. So money does not indicate quality by any means. Garbett, watch Sting. Come on.
No.
Don't
peer pressure.
I've heard something story-wise about the movie that's not necessarily a spoiler, but would potentially get me to watch it, maybe. But I don't know. It's like I know you and Nadia will not watch a movie with animals getting hurt.
We try not to.
Exactly. I'm not going to watch something with a spider in it. It's the same thing. Zach, Dune 2 couldn't even beat Thor, Love and Thunder. The MCU really does just print money. Well, franchises print money in general. Again, it's not indicative of quality. Thor, Love and Thunder is by far and away not the best Thor movie. It's not even the best MCU movie. It's probably one of the lesser ones in a while. But, again, like we keep saying, a good movie doesn't mean lots of money.
Yeah.
Some of the best movies of all time didn't even make $1 million at the box office. So, I think it's kind of a false equivalency to make. But that is going to be it for everything as far as news stories this week, which means it's time to change up the music.
Actually, I forgot to say, I think it was Zach that made me watch a short that I didn't put on there.
Jose did.
Jose. So sorry, Jose. Thought it was Zach. Jose not made me. That sounds really bad. But I spun to get. I think it's
the cat comes back or something.
Yeah, the cat comes back. I put it on my letterbox, but it was 6 minutes short. It was really nostalgic with the animation style. It looks like a Nickelodeon's cartoon, like the Rugrats. So it really kicked that mindset back into like childhood. But oh my gosh, that song is so annoying after like the first time it happens. But other than that, I think I gave it like a 32 or something. I'll look really quick.
30 out of 100. It looks
30 out of 100. Wasn't the best, wasn't the greatest, but that song really just didn't do it for me.
Didn't vibe.
No.
Didn't vibe at all. He says, no worries. No, I made you. I personally enjoy it, which is the great thing about film.
That's good.
Honestly. It's so subjective. Everyone's going to like different movies. And honestly, we should say this more often when we get into our soapboxes. But like, just because we have an opinion on a movie doesn't mean it is the end-all be-all of opinions. And it's not saying that we cannot, you can't like a movie just because we dislike it, or we can't like a movie that you dislike. It's every movie. It's a piece of art, whether it's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, or Casablanca, right? Every movie in between is a piece of art that is going to have different opinions to it. So
yeah, and some people will want to watch Winnie the Pooh over Casablanca, but that is just their opinion, and that's what they want to watch. That's what they're going to watch. That's it.
It tickles their fancy. It's what they want to watch, and there's nothing wrong with that. Unless a movie is like objectively doing things to harm people or something, then then it's but let's go ahead and get into the Wheel of Fate. So make sure you get in those. We have got 4 people in here, so you have a lot of chances for your movie to be picked.
Can anybody dethrone Nadia? She has gotten a movie every single week since we have been back on the air, just to let everybody know.
I think that's true. And she had the most when it was Adrian and I as well, I think.
Yeah.
Between her and Cassidy, I think, had the most that were suggested. So make sure you go ahead and get those suggestions in. No cap on how many you could do. Serial Mom coming in again. I was already annoyed to watch that last time. So Slaughter High. Gonna
Don't do the
one here. Hellfest. A lot of the same ones here from Nadia, which I mean, it's worth it because she gets picked. So,
Nadia, don't yell at us, okay? Stop using those caps. All right, we see you.
You're not dethroning me. Sounding like the villain from Wish. Near Dark. The Abyss. Interesting pick there. Not available to stream anywhere, I don't think, but very interesting. Death Becomes Her is a movie I've been wanting to watch for a while. Kind of hoping I get that one. Let's see here. Focus.
Oh, Death Becomes Her is on Netflix.
It is. It's on one of them.
It's on YouTube for free or something.
7 Pounds. Ali. And obviously, we also have the movies that Kevin and I will pick for each other if we get that picked on the wheel. We'll go ahead and give it another minute, though. So go ahead and get those ideas in here. We got Bad Boys. What you gonna do? Getting thrown on the list. Yeah, Case 39. That's actually a movie I have seen quite a few times on streaming. Just available. Shopping Mall. All right, we got about 30 seconds left. I, Robot. That's an interesting one. We'll get slapped by Will. That's a dated joke. It's not even funny anymore. Alrighty. We got another 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Get them in here.
Nadia hasn't put Norbit 2 on there, so I'm kind of...
There isn't an Orbit 2. if there is, I give up on my passion. Final Destination getting added. I'm guessing you're referring to the first one. I think I reviewed the first one. So if I get it rolled, I will share what that is. Have you seen Final Destination, Kevin?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. But have you reviewed it?
I don't think I have.
Then there you go. Alrighty, that has been the full minutes. We'll go ahead and cut off after there at Final Destination. So nothing after Final Destination will be put in. So let's go ahead and present here. Let's share this screen, this wheel of names. Alrighty, Kevin. I'm trying to remember who went first last week. I can't remember, so let's start new. We'll go first.
Okay.
Here we go. And I am getting...
my pick.
Kevin's pick for me.
I wasn't thinking of a movie.
Well, you can have it. You can take a couple of seconds to pick.
Yeah.
To find something out. So we'll go ahead and remove that for now, and then I will go ahead and spin for Kevin. Kevin is going to get... It's going round and round. What's Kevin going to get? Kevin is getting...
Sleepwalkers.
Another Nadia pick. Retaining her crown. Crown so rightfully deserved.
And
repping the horror genre when it comes to the Wheel of Fate.
I have your movie too, just to let you know.
Okay, and Kevin's pick for me is...
It's going to be Dumb Money.
Dumb Money, the GameStop stock one.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. Alrighty. Well, those are the movies. I know, that's right. Oh, looks like we lost Kevin.
Nope.
There he is. I know, that's right. You have kept your crown. Congratulations, as always. But that is going to be it for the Wheel of Fate, and that is going to bring us to the end of the show. But before we go, we always like to just hang out a little bit and chat. Kevin, you have done something over the last week that sounds pretty fun, and I'm going to be doing something tomorrow that sounds pretty fun. So let's go ahead and talk about you. You recently had a trip to Vegas. Sounds like it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It again, different atmosphere, definitely rejuvenates your body a little bit too, especially just getting out of the city, getting out of the state, just really does something to your body, especially just working, and coming home. Which coming home, I don't mind, but little adventure sometimes always gets the blood pumping. We did say it's circus wasn't. It was good. I mean, we paid like $94 for the hotel room for 3 days. That's nothing. So
Each $94 a day.
no, that was total.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and then they had the adventure park land over there, which was super cool. So we got to see all the rides that are inside like the pink tent in there, which is pretty cool. We got to see the sphere for the first time, that is super cool. Just to see the outside. I would love to see a concert inside of there. Would be fantastic. We walked the strip, which I've walked the strip a couple of times, but Nadia has not. So we walked the strip for her. She loved it. I loved it. And then we went to Fremont Street, which was really cool. I've never been to Fremont Street. So being in there was really cool. I want to go to the zip lining thing. You zip line across people when they're below you and everything. So that would be fun. It's just hella expensive. But that was super cool to see. Walking through all of the hotels in Vegas, just it transports you to a different world, which is super, super nice. But yeah, we got our steps in for those 2 days that we were there. I think we did like 30,000 steps or something like that. Nadia has it on her phone, but it was crazy, but still really fun. Only a 4-hour drive. That's nothing.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Especially when you have good people to talk with the entire time. So.
Oh yeah.
As far as well, I mean, is there anything you're watching? Is there anything you're playing right now that you need to talk about?
Call of Duty Season 3 just came out, so got the season pass for that. So I'm gonna try to grind that all the way through like I did, and not wait until I waited until Sunday to try to finish it when we went to Vegas the next day, and it ended 2 days when we were in Vegas. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this done. So yeah, just trying to grind that out up there. I'm gonna be watching some movies like Wish. I want to watch today or tomorrow. We're gonna go see
First Omen.
Called First Omen, and then probably Kong vs. Zilla for me on Wednesday.
Sure.
Not really anything else. Just been watching a lot of HHN horror construction. Nothing has been announced yet, but they're putting up some stuff, which is really getting me excited.
Rumors are that they are starting it earlier this year too, in August.
Yeah, in August, that's when Florida is going to be starting it. So hopefully we get September, August, so we can go on our birthdays or something like that. So when it's still not too busy or anything, but it's right at the tail end of September, the 1st of October would be super, super sick.
Yeah, because I know you guys are planning on going to the Florida one this year. So it would be not anymore?
No. Too expensive, stuff like that. So.
Oh, gotcha. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because it would be really cool.
But hey, it didn't say it's not going to happen. It's just too expensive right now. So
right now, that's the key words.
Mm-hmm.
But before we jump into stuff for me, let's go ahead and got a comment here from Zach. What's the standard for a modern day movie star? It seems like a dated version of a movie star would drive box office numbers and flock crowds, but now it's more about prestige and award season. I don't know. I think you can have both nowadays, because you definitely get the prestige movie stars, people who are like the award winners, that are like, I'm trying to think of someone off the top of my head, like Adam Driver, I would say, is like a award winner who does more like indie projects and kind of is a movie star that way. But then you also get the Tom Hollands and the Zendayas and the Timothy Chalamets who are doing these big tentpole projects, and people are going to see them. And so I think you have a mixture of both. I think that the biggest thing now is that because of social media, because of the internet, because of all these things, there's just less of a mystique about who that person is outside of their movies. And so now you can kind of follow the person. And I think it's harder to distinguish between the person and the actor now, which can be a little odd for people. But, if you're like me and you just watch the movies and you don't really follow their personalities, then it's easier to see it as what it used to be and not what it is. So,
well, and when I see a movie or see a trailer or a movie poster, I look at to see if I know the person, the lead actor or actress on that poster or trailer, and see if I like any of their other movies, and that might intrigue me to go see their new movie. Which,
Sure.
I mean, like you'll get like America Ferrera is in Dumb Money, but she's a co-star in that one. But I like America Ferrera. She was on Superstore and in Barbie, which I really enjoyed. So I might go see that because she's in it. And it's not necessarily like for me star power, but that does help. But it's not necessarily that. But like Sting, I don't know who's in Sting, but it looks good. So
yeah, there's no one really in it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's just it's kind of interesting. I think it's more individual than ever. Like
Yeah.
it's up to like what you think. But adding on, thinking Adam Driver, like I said, Leo, Keanu, those types as a modern day movie star versus Denzel, who still draws crowds, like Equalizer. Sure, I mean, I don't know. I think movie stars are still movie stars, but I think the issue is now that there's, like I said, there's less of a distinction between who they are and what they're in because of social media.
Yeah.
But good question. As for me, though, I was talking about what's going to be going on tomorrow. I am going to the Warner Brothers studio tomorrow, the actual Warner Brothers studio lot, to do a studio tour for part of my birthday gift or birthday celebration. So very, very excited for that. Going with some family and my parents, and it's going to be a wonderful time. Hopefully get to see something while we're there. Hopefully a person or something filming or something would be really cool. Aside from that, I've just been trying to watch more movies. I've been a little slow on movies lately because I've been playing a couple more video games. I had played and 100%ed Lego Marvel Superheroes. I just finished 100%ing Lego Marvel Avengers, and I'm now working on Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. So that's fun. But I've got a couple other movies and stuff that I want to check out this week, aside from the assignment of Done Bunny. But also, I recently went out shopping and got this book, which I started reading today, and it's great so far. It's called Opposable Thumbs. It's about Siskel and Ebert, the two most popular film critics of all time, and how they changed movies in the industry forever. They are two people who I very much respect. I used to not really agree with them too much back in the day because I didn't really like films that were good when I was younger. But like this they're too influential and they're too important to the film industry to kind of, and especially for someone like me who's trying to be more of a critic and more of an analyst when it comes to film, as opposed to just a general film goer. That I want to see what their story was like and learn more about them and their process. So
yeah, sounds interesting.
Other than that, I am super excited for Fallout, the TV show, which starts on Friday.
Yeah, that's true. I forget.
First 2 episodes premiered for fans, and the reactions are really good. So I am really excited.
Was that the one you were kind of skeptic about too, because it went through director hell or something like that?
No, that's Borderlands.
Borderlands. So sorry.
Borderlands, I'm very skeptical about. Yeah. Fallout, though, is the brother of Christopher Nolan directing it, who did Westworld, which is a great show.
Oh, that's okay.
And it's going to be great. The studio is directly involved in it. Is essentially Fallout 5. While we're waiting for Fallout 5, it is a new original story set in the world that happens at the same time as the games. I am so excited.
Cool. And I forgot to mention WrestleMania was last weekend.
Oh, there is that too.
That's last weekend.
So I'm saying like that's among something you did.
Like yeah. So that was so cool. Love wrestling now. So if you're a wrestling fan, definitely go watch Night 1 and 2. Super, super good. That's it.
And there you go. But that's going to be it, everyone. There's so much to talk about. Thank you guys for waiting a week for us. Yep. We took a week off. I know some of you are very happy to not see our faces, maybe. But it's always wonderful to come back here and have you guys interacting with us and hanging out with us. So thank you again for joining us as always. As always, again, we have our movie club episodes that go live every single Friday. And coming up this Friday is a really special one. We're going to be checking out The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey. So very excited to talk about that with you guys. We've got a really special one coming up next week as well. And then I have started working on the next top 10 video, which is going to be very exciting. I don't want to spoil what it is yet,
okay.
But it is coming at some point. hopefully. And then that's about it. So we'll be live again, same time next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for joining us on this journey on YouTube. We've been here for, it's coming up on 3 years now, 2 or 3 years. So thank you everyone for joining us on this ride. We absolutely love every single one of you. And I know Adrian's no longer with the channel, but he also extends those wishes as well. Thank you so much for joining us and being there to support us. And until next time, Nadia says, bah.
Bah.
And that's a version of bye.
Bye.
Have a great night, everyone. Until next time, keep your eyes on the screen.